Dozen organizations in South Omaha are hoping that their strength is in numbers.
That they are South and North Omaha and other communities that were impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic are eligible for a share of $335 million in what's called area funds.
John Chapman tells us more about the hopes in South Omaha.
The organizations are hoping by teaming up, the funds recommended for South Omaha actually make it to South Omaha.
The group is diverse, representing everything from the arts to economic development in the community. A dozen in all, working together to make sure the South Omaha community is not left out of federal funds that are available. Organizers call this teamwork historical.
So historical because we're bringing together many organizations from different sectors, for-profit and non-profit, that are working together to make sure that the plan is well coordinated, well supported, that the expertise that each organization brings to the table are well utilized, and ultimately that the trust of the community that we will be working so hard for many decades to gain, that we're able to pay back.
One World Community Health Center is a very busy place. Last year, One World served more than 50,000 people, providing health care to an underserved community. Now, One World has plans to expand, to build a 24,000 square foot facility to provide prevention-focused health care, including mental health, a need that spiked during the height of COVID.
People who have immigrated to the United States and don't have family nearby or supports, it creates the chance for lots of depression and behavioral health issues. And we saw death during COVID, and families are still reeling and trying to recover from that, and they need our help.
One World is just one example of needed change in South Omaha. Organizers say this community is a major part of the city and a major part of the state.
South Omaha is the gateway for bringing immigrants to this community that have been very important for the success of the state.
On your side in South Omaha, I'm John Chapman, 6 News.
A melting pot for sure. Thanks, John. Organizers say it's important to get in touch with their representative in the Unicam to let them know how important the funding is to the South Omaha community.